Welcome back to Model Talk. This is Katerina.
And I'm Candace.
And today we have a male model here in the studio. His name is Jeffery.
And he has some sound advice of what you can do to prepare when hard times hit your way. Now, Doug, you started out in Atlantic City and you were dealing cards. But I know you always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but people kept saying what to you?
I would have people come up to me just randomly and say, oh my God, did you ever think about, going into the movies, doing modeling? So I think it kind of got ingrained into my brain. So it kind of gave me a little bit of a little motivation to try and do something a little bit different. So I got an agent in Atlantic City and Philadelphia. And then my goal was to move to New York and pursue it, a little more professionally. So every time I had a chance, I'd jump on the bus and found an agent up there and grab some auditions.
Oh, that's awesome. And so then when you're in New York, you started getting repeat clients and you started working all the time. And so then what were you telling me? Your friends started moving to the West Coast.
Yeah, after we were there 6-7 years, Hollywood, LA was the place that everybody was going. So eventually everybody I was working with, my roommates, everybody made that journey westward to Hollywood.
And so you came out here and you were saying that there were challenges because you had all sorts of clients that, booked you regularly. You were on the cover of Harlequin romance novels. Yeah. Didn't you tell me something about Fabio?
Yeah, I used to pass Fabio in the hallway.
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah,
so
I had a
funny.
handful of regular clients from J.C. Penney's to the romance novels to fitness magazines. I was, I established myself after 6 years. So moving to Los Angeles, starting all over again. Had a big bankroll in my account, and within a year and a half, it was all gone. So it's like, what do you do? Gotta find a job.
So you found a regular job while you were going on your go-sees and trying to model and...
Yes, bartending, odd jobs that was able to just keep me, moving forward. And, running joke that I had was, once I got anything lower than $5,000 into my account, I had to go get a job. So
you had to get a real job.
Yeah, luckily, but I was able to make a living at it for quite some time. I feel very blessed.
So you've been in the industry for a very long time. You've had a really successful career. And I know that, for every single model that's in this business, there are the ups, the high highs, and the low lows. And we were talking, you said that last week you were on a veil for a really great job, and then at 11:30 at night, your agent emails you and tells you that you were released. Explain that, like how do you handle the ups and downs emotionally of this industry?
Well, I've been in this business 35 years, give or take, and certain things, they still kind of sting. But you're thankful for you've gotten to that next point, and this industry is just crazy. There's so many people out there, to even get the opportunity to have an audition, you're beating up thousands of people.
Right.
Then to get a call back, then to get put on a veil. So you just have to take it as a positive and go, okay, I'll get the next one. You just move on. You really can't be attached to the outcome. It really is the journey, it's the process, and each time you go out, you learn something differently, and you truly have to love what you're doing. If you don't have a love and a passion for it, you will not survive.
In this industry.
In this industry, because you're rejected more than somebody says, hey, great, we're gonna hire you. The rejection is just part of the business. The average person might do 7 to 10 interviews in their lifetime. Being an actor or a model, you're doing 7 a week. It's crazy. So it's you learn a lot about yourself.
Well, you were telling me the other day about a very famous, well-known casting person who said, what was the secret of success in this industry? Tell me.
Years ago, Nina Blanchard. She was on the Mike Douglas show. And the question was put forth, what makes a star? And I'll never forget this. It really stayed with me all these years. So the setup is there's 100 people in a room. Stardom is behind that door.
Okay.
Once that door opens, you walk through, you're a star. So the first hour goes by, 10 people leave. 2 hours, another 20 people. So all the way down, there's one person left, and the door opens, and they come out and they say next. And it's really about just staying in the game.
Staying in the business.
Yeah, doing your time, and if you have a love and a passion for it, eventually you hope that you will get to that place.
What are some of the other, big challenges that you've had to deal with, like the emotional issues of the ups and downs in the business? Is there anything else? Because I know now, coming back into the business, that you're a different age bracket than you were before. Because before, when you were cast as a model, I would assume you were like the Marlboro man, the good-looking, handsome leading guy. Now, you've got silver hair, you're a different look. How do you see
I'm old.
yourself?
It's strange. I took like a 20-year hiatus. There was just things that I needed to deal with, and I got to the point where I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. I would not go on casting auditions. I had a little bit of an attitude when I would go in. I was kind of angry at the business, so I said, you know what, I'm going to do something else. And then coming back into it, year and change, I'm not that same guy that's in his early 30s. I'm in my middle 50s, and it's, who am I? What category do I fit into? So, I'm getting called in on senators, congressmen. It's a weird kind of dynamic of, who am I now?
Right. So what do you feel like for young models just getting into the business? What advice do you have for them as far as longevity in this industry?
You really need to have plan B.
Seriously?
Go to college, really education, whatever other passion that you have in life, you need to have something else. Because, you could be one of the lucky ones that hit the ground off the bus from Nebraska, you hit it, you make it, and you just keep going. But that does not really happen. You might get a couple good years, you might get, longevity in the business, but trying to support yourself in this industry is extremely difficult. So you need to have other passions that you can live on, because you go through that, and then all of a sudden the phone stops ringing, nothing happens. What are you going to do? And you need to be full of life when you audition. If you're depressed about, oh my God, I can't pay my rent, what am I going to do?
That's true.
You need something else.
Well, because talk about like a segueing of in a career, you went from being the fitness guy, fitness model on the cover of fitness magazines, and now to senator.
Yeah,
so it's like it's
different.
been this career move. So do you recommend that young models coming in, they incorporate all the talents that they have in their life and they become as well-rounded people, jack of trades, because that's only going to help them in their career?
That's a great, very valid point, because the more that you bring to the table when you say, hi, my name's Doug Jeffery.
Right.
Being full of life and being able to, you've done so many things in your life, you're richer, you're fuller, and they see it, they smell it, they want to know what's that secret that person has.
One of your secrets, I have to say, but I think it made you really well-rounded, is that you actually had the opportunity to travel the world as the official MC for Chippendales. So do you think that has also, because you got to speak Afrikaans, you got to speak French, you learned everything in different languages, and I think as a result, it did make you more well-rounded for your job.
Yes, it was a wonderful experience. I look back on it today, and it makes me smile. It's just one of those things. It's no idea what to expect when I first started doing it, but I used to call it the pseudo rock star. We'd go and we performed to 5,000 or 10,000 people. All over the country, world, and you were a rock star. They were like, oh my God, oh my God. So it was just that thing of you learn a lot about yourself. So it was fun.
So during your 20-year hiatus, when you were not doing modeling, you stopped modeling, and then you're back in it now, you were doing other things. What were you doing, and what company do you have today?
I was building furniture as a hobby. I always had a love for it, and through a friend of a friend, I started to work on television sets. And when I was 41 years old, I started a company called 41 Sets. We design and build sets for television, commercials, film, what have you. And I was lucky enough to find something that I really enjoyed and I was good at that kind of fed that creative urge when I wasn't out there auditioning and trying to work as an actor or a model.
This is what I find so interesting. You ended up leaving the industry at the height of your career, that you were very much in demand. You were at the height of the way you look physically, everything. So why did you leave? It doesn't even make sense to me.
As I touched on earlier, I just really was, I was angry. I was angry at the business. And prior to that, my mother was diagnosed with cancer, so I was dealing with that. And just watching her struggle and suffer and literally dying broke. At that point in time of my career, I'm like, yes, I'm blessed enough, I'm working, but what is my future? So that's why I was saying before that you really need to have plan B. So I'm like, okay, in my late 30s, what else can I do? What can I do that I'm really good at? So I always had that place to fall back on. And it gave me that, you're auditioning and, oh my God, I need the job because I can't pay my rent. I didn't want that feeling.
Okay.
So it made me kind of switch gears, and I'm blessed. I have so much more life under my belt, just living. So to come back at the game 20 years later, I find it fascinating. Of who am I? There's life experience in my eyes that I didn't have in my 20s or my 30s. So it's made me a better man.
Well, then what made you decide 20 years later to actually get back into the industry?
I loved it. And that's the main thing. You really do need to love this industry.
Have to have a passion for it.
Passion for it, because it will chew you up and spit you out. And, it's difficult not doing this like I was doing it day in, day out before. I've been lucky enough, I've had big auditions coming back into it. And not being trained or not doing it, I find myself faltering. So one of the things is I got back into a class.
Right.
You go through that checklist of all the things you need to do to be the best person you can be to get the job.
So Doug, how hard was it after all those years to actually get back into the industry? Like, what did you have to do? And did you feel like you were lost because the industry with social media and everything had changed so much since then?
Yeah, it's still mind-boggling to this day, being back into it for a year and a half. It's all about your resume. What have you done? Well, I haven't done anything in 20 years, which, my reel and all my photos, they don't work anymore. So I had to go through that same process when I was first starting 35 years ago. You have to recreate, you have to do everything all over again. And, to get an agent, I have no credits. I've worked quite a bit, over the years, but it's all old. Nobody even knows that stuff anymore. So you're literally starting from square one. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge every single day.
So it's your own positivity and belief in yourself that has really kept you going this entire time.
Yeah, if you don't love it and you don't believe in you, you are your product. You are selling yourself. So if you don't love what you're selling, who's going to buy it? So you have to be this complete package, mind, body, and soul, that when you walk in there, they look you in the eye and they go, I want what that guy has.
Right. Well, also, when modeling too, you're at, an older age than a lot of models, but you've chosen to keep yourself looking as great as you can at this age.
Yeah, and it's doing everything you can, from taking care of yourself physically to, always eating the right things, still trying to work out. So you're beating the odds. I'm trying, if I can hang in there long enough, eventually maybe that door will open for me and I will be able to walk through. As long as I'm in the game, opportunities there, and I love it. It really is about the journey.
That's awesome. Doug, thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you so much. You look beautiful, and congratulations.
On the next episode of Models Talk, Christina Menisov shares with me why models need to teach themselves to be narcissists.